Happy big commitment week to all who celebrate. We're live. Well, we're not really live, but we're here. We're recording. It's a big week, Willie.
It's a big week. Iowa, Nebraska tonight. Tomorrow night.
No, tomorrow night.
It's also my birthday weekend, and it's also the Super Bowl. Go Bills. We got Bo Bassett committed. We got Drayshawn. How about, was there ever a time in history where number 1, number 2, number 3 committed in like a 5-day span?
I was going to ask you that because it seems
No.
crazy to me. I'm paying attention more now because commitment stuff from a content standpoint is like, it's almost the holy grail. Like, I've been doing wrestling content for 5-6 years now, and nothing is as crazy.
You know what's funny? Now that I think about it, like when I was just a fan, like in college, and I loved college wrestling, and I'm like, so I'm following wrestling, but I'm also looking at like the 1 or 2 ranking type stuff that's out there, and they were, and the more I got into it, the more horrible it was, right? Because I'm like, that's not right, that's not good, that's actually really, really bad. But at the same time, I'm super, back then I was super football, basketball, right? Like, I loved all college sports. That's all I did was shoot pool, drink some beers, and bet on sports.
So
right?
Nothing's changed. Nothing has changed.
Well, nothing's changed nothing really has changed except for that I'm so wrestling heavy now. I really don't pay attention. Zero to college basketball. Football, like, not as much as I want to because I'm working so much. But The point was that the reason I got into this game, the reason I'm doing what I'm doing now and have done it for like 15, 20 years is because there was no good recruiting stuff at all. And so I kind of like wanted to do it for myself because I'm like following Rivals and Scout and their rankings and the best quarterback 5-star and the best prospects in California and Florida. And there wasn't like anything for wrestling. So I'll do it myself. And so what I'm getting at is it went from there not being available and nobody really following it to yesterday, Bo Bassett commit was front and center on every website, and Spencer and Roman Bravo Young, 2 NCAA champs, one of them an Olympic finalist, are wrestling, and nobody's talking about it. We went from 15 years ago, 20 years ago, having no recruiting information, nobody really even much caring about it, to now it supersedes Olympians.
Yeah, it's wild. Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about Bo Bassett committing to Iowa.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really big shot in the arm for the Iowa program. You know, that the last couple of years they've been, they got a couple good recruits, but they've been keeping the ship afloat with these 1 or 2 year plug and play guys. And now they have, the biggest star in the game, arguably the number 1 recruit in the class. But also, if you look at this year's class with Drayshawn, Jax, and Bo, man, it's like any one of those guys could have been a number 1 in a different year. Like, if you look like a year or 2 out from now, it's like they would definitely be number 1 in that class. So to get 3 of these guys at the same time is pretty special. But they get Bo. He's a marketing machine. He's sort of a plug and play guy at whatever level. Like, I mean, he's a junior in high school, and I think he could probably AA right now with his physicality and hand fighting and his gas tank. I mean, he's built for college. This guy's built for folk style, right? I mean, he's good at freestyle too, but he is a pain in the butt. in folk style. And so, I mean, there's never anything that's can't miss, because at the end of the day, these guys are individuals with lives, and they, things can change. There's nothing exactly can't miss, but Bo's about as can't miss as you can get. Like, his floor is really super high.
Yeah, I think too the big thing that I took away from it was, and we'll talk about this too, but like I honestly did not think initially it was Iowa. And so a lot of it and we got dunked on a little bit because we both said it's not going to be Iowa, and it was Iowa, and that's fine. But
I didn't think it was going to be Iowa. I'm not surprised it's Iowa. I didn't think it was going to be Iowa, but the Flow guys, and I like, what? It's funny because I needle the Flow guys. I need little Flow guys once in a while, but they don't retort back very often, which I wish they did, because then I would retort more.
Yeah.
But this time they did, which is fine. Then okay, look, good. Now here we go. Game on. I like this. You want to play? Let's play. But I get a prediction wrong. And now I mean, I don't know, and I heard it from the Iowa boards too. Ooh, Will, you got this one wrong. You didn't know. I don't know. I mean, I get a lot right, but I don't get every. Why is everybody acting like I get every prediction right?
Because you sit there and call yourself the brain every day. You sit there and say I'm the greatest mind in wrestling.
Being a great mind in wrestling does not mean you can you can read the minds of 18-year-olds.
So going back to what I was saying though, so I think Iowa was always in the top 4, but I definitely thought with everything going on at Oklahoma State that they were one of the front 2, and I thought with the dynasty Cal and Co. are building at Penn State, I thought Penn State was there. And then from there, it kind of was, you have Rudis in Ohio State. You've got Iowa, which is a perennial powerhouse and a place that Bo was a fan of for a long time. And then this whole weekend was a whirlwind of trying to keep up, especially with what we were hearing in the back end, where we heard this was a done deal like Saturday, Sunday, and then it's like, oh crap, Bo to Iowa is a very real thing. And it was reminiscent for me of when David Taylor went to Oklahoma State. And a lot of times things happen behind the scenes where it's like, no, David's not going to Oklahoma State. All of a sudden, Chad comes in, Oklahoma State AD comes in, they up the offer, they do this and that. David changes his mind, he goes to Oklahoma State. It's tough sometimes to commentate on it, and I think it was a similar situation this weekend with Bo.
Well, it was a little bit. I think there was a little tipping of it in retrospect, in that it was like a fire drill. All of a sudden, Bo wanted to announce, and he wanted to announce now, right? So it was like somebody said, hey, let's get this done now. Right? That's what it seemed like. And so, but I'm glad he got it done. And man, the haters can't make up their mind whether, oh, Bo's dragging this out all year long, and then Bo commits, and then, oh, Bo just wants to make it about him, a spectacle, and do it. Oh, now he has to do it now. Make up your mind.
You can't have both sides of that argument, where the two biggest complaints I saw were, one, he's a self-promoter, which good, he should be. 2 is the whole money thing and the rumors of just how much, and
How do you think he got that money? How do you think he earned that payday? By self-promoting. You blooming idiots.
Hey, Bo, listen, Bo worked, we were talking about in the group chat last couple of days, and it's like, I don't think we're never going to know exactly how much money it is. And I think that's fine. You often, Carson Beck just went to Miami. Carson never commented on the fact that the reports are it's $4 million. Like, we're not going to know that. And honestly, I really don't care.
Carson Beck's mid, by the way. Can we admit that Carson Beck is mid?
Absolutely mid. And he's still got, like, the report is $4.3 million. And Carson didn't come out and say, hey, I'm taking this shot because I'm getting $4 million and it's more than if I were to hit the NFL draft. So, I don't, and I know people are very skeptical right now of Bo and the money side of it. And it's like, I'm very happy for him. He worked his butt off to get this opportunity, and I think he's capitalizing on it. And he even admitted, like, somebody tweeted, one of the Hawkeye accounts tweeted, like, was money a factor? Of course. But also this, and this. And I agree. Bo has said from day one when he's been on this podcast, when he's been on others, like, money is absolutely a factor. This is NIL, and Bo is the most sought-after recruit in the NIL era. It is absolutely about money. At the same time, he does have a lot of Iowa fandom that you can look back on. There's a video from 7 years ago about Bo saying, I want to be a 4-time champ for the University of Iowa. So yeah. I think it's okay to admit that both, yes, this was about money, and honestly, I think that it was,
anyway you slice it, right? Like, I didn't think it was going to be Iowa. I thought it could be because I thought they would offer the most money.
Yeah.
But any other place, they were offering money too. Like, part of my thought process was, if it's Ohio State's going to be in the mix because of Rudis, and they're going to offer a good package. Penn State's going to be in the mix because they're all going to offer a good package. Oklahoma State's going to have to offer a good package. And so everybody likes to complain about the money and who's offering the most and who's not offering the most, and they fight. But the bottom line is, he's going to get paid by somebody, right? It's not like one school's not offering at all.
Yeah.
And so you can argue about the dollar amounts. And I do think, I do know that the Iowa offer was more than the others. To what extent, I'm not 100% sure. But who cares? Who cares? That's good. I mean, the more that Bo ups it, as long as he's doing it for the right reasons, right? I mean, it's not like Bo sold out and just like, he believes he can win there, and he believes he wants to be there. That's the environment for him, right? So,
and it's definitely going to be interesting because, and I'm still going to have him on. For what happened with the live show was, it happened late. I think Willie fell asleep or something after being up for 2 days. And then the next day, it's like, all right, let's let this die down. He's got a big week with all these state duels. And then I still want to have him back on the show. And I want to talk to him about these things. Like, Iowa, for a long time, has really not been a marketing school. They're really not a school where their athletes are self-promoting and marketing. They're more guys who, they're a part of the Iowa program, and Iowa talks about them. But it's a very, looking at it from a marketing standpoint, Iowa is very unique. Even in the fact that the Twitter account does not mention a guy who loses. When Penn State Iowa wrestled, Iowa literally tweeted the results of 2 matches. Like, Iowa is just very unique. And Bo, on paper, from a marketing standpoint, is the antithesis of that. And it's going to be very interesting to see, as this NIL era continues, as all these things continue to grow, what's Bo's impact on the program? Bo is a very positive kid. He's a very public and transparent kid. So it's going to be interesting to see his impact on the program on that side of it.
It's going to be interesting, too, if when Bo does stuff on social media, sometimes it seems like it's a pitch, right? Sometimes it's like, hey, max effort, like technique of the week or something. But 99% of the time, it seems organic. It seems like, hey, I'm up 5:30, let's go, right? But it's going to be interesting to see if his social media frequency stays the same when he gets in college, because you kind of have to strike while the iron's hot. Like, you have to make yourself a star to get the deal, but then after the deal's done, you really don't have to build yourself anymore. It's just wrestling does the talking.
You don't, but at some point, it really also depends on what he wants out of it. He got the Rudis deal. He got a groundbreaking NIL deal, whatever the actual number may be. And it's like there's a lot of different directions he can go with it now. And that's one of the things I want to ask him and talk to him about. And it's like we don't see that many athletes that at a high level are creating content and competing. I think Caden Henschel is an example of somebody who is, but he's also not at the competition level Bo Bassett is. So it's going to be interesting if Bo takes an approach like Caden, where he's actively competing and he's actively creating, but at some point, Bo's going to have to go from like either commit to being a content creator while wrestling, because it's
Is Bo really a content creator, though?
I don't know if
Caden Henschel does like production value stuff. Bo gets in front of a camera and somebody hits start and stop, and
correct.
It's not a heavy lift. It's not a heavy 100%. Lift for Bo.
What Bo can do, I think, is continue to do what he's doing. It's going to be interesting because it's just a very different realm when you go from high school to college, and when you go from the fact that he's in school all day. Like these 5 a.m. workouts. I don't know what that's going to look like when you're no longer, like, his dad's the coach. They work out at home. They work out at McCort. It's going to be very different dynamics, and it's going to be interesting to see how much, so I guess where I'm going is right now he has 100% free reign on transparency. We don't know what that's going to look like when it comes time to Iowa.
Well, I also don't know if the juice is worth a squeeze later.
Totally.
I mean, there's a very clear benefit to doing what he was doing, and that's a big offer from a college, right?
Yeah.
And now he got that, but who's going to if he continues that in college? What does it get him?
Well, for somebody like Bo, I'd say the biggest thing would be brand deals that as he continues on into the senior level, Olympic type sponsors and that stuff. If they start looking and he has, right now he's got 170,000 followers. If he has 500,000 followers, there is brand deal incentive, but it's more for a frequency of deals than it is hitting the home run like he just did.
Yeah,
I don't think he's going to take his foot off the gas.
I mean, wrestling's just not built that way. There's not non-endemic ad dollars out there.
I don't think. But it doesn't matter that it's wrestling. It matters that he has a reach of 170,000 people and he's a combat athlete. They're not doing it.
I know, but Coca-Cola isn't signing him
for the Olympics. They might. But not just.
That's what I'm saying. Olympics, right? Jordan Burroughs got a polo deal or something, right? But that's.
Yeah. But I think you can still get good, even if he wasn't a wrestler. Just having an audience of 170,000 people, it's very valuable. So I don't think he's going to take his foot off the gas because I think he's going to continue to build that brand and continue to look for opportunities. I also think that was absolutely one of the biggest home runs right there.
What was one of the biggest home runs? The
getting the Iowa deal, yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. I just don't know how much left. I don't know. I don't know if there's more carrots at the end of that stick going forward.
I definitely think there is. I mean, a lot of that also has to do with his competitive career. Listen, while content and brand partially got him the way here, it's also how much success he's had on the mat. That is absolutely a huge factor.
And you look back at it too. That first cadet world title meant a lot. Mm-hmm. I mean, it does. It's not the difference if he's going to go on and win an NCAA title. If it's not, doesn't mean he's going to win an Olympic title or a world title. But that cadet world title, that started his marketing arc. Mm-hmm. That started his influx of following.
And by the way, again, he is the number one recruit because of his success. He's got all these world level titles. He's got all the high school success. He's got senior level wins over guys. He's an incredible wrestler. Guys like Jax Forrest don't have a fourth of his audience, but they're number two. And like you said, the 1, 2, 3 is not a standard 1, 2, 3. And Jax
I
Forrest,
mean,
we're gonna find out today where
like
he's going.
Jax is close, and Marcus Blaze is right there, uh, if not more, with the accolades. But Marcus was quiet about it, right?
Yeah, and I don't.
Eh,
What?
But yeah, Jax today. Drayshawn already committed. Sort of odd for Drayshawn. There was no real big build up. You hear a little bit of different sources. I mean, some people saying that Iowa didn't go real hard at him. I don't know how true or false that is, but from what I'm told, I was certainly interested, but they didn't. Now that, but the story I'm told is they didn't go hard at Drayshawn, which is bizarre. But um, maybe that is in comparison to David. David, it seems like, went really hard at Drayshawn.
Yeah, I heard David went really hard at Drayshawn and Jax Forrest, and Iowa went really hard at Bo Bassett. There was kind of, while these schools want, all three of these guys, it seems like schools kind of picked the guys that they thought would have the most impact for them. And I definitely think, Bo was the guy that Iowa really, really, really wanted.
Well, there would be at least 1 year overlap with Ben if they stayed the whole time, but I don't know. I I think Iowa probably should have went as hard as possible at Drayson. I think he's a terrific prospect. Um, I don't know. I don't know, but I think Drayson is a terrific prospect. I think that they could have a really great back half with him and Cody Merrill. Um, and so number one and number three are off the board to Iowa and Oklahoma State, respectively. We have number two to decide today. And I mean, we have a pretty good idea where he's going. But to me, it sets in motion. It sets in motion what the other guys might do, like the Rainey brothers. If Jax goes to Iowa, what do the Rainies do? If Jax goes to Okie State, what do the Rainies do? If Jax goes to Penn State, what do the Rainies do?
Well, I'm not obviously as big of a recruiting guy as you are, but I've heard that it sounds like regardless of those situations, that the Rainey brothers are most likely to stay home in Illinois.
Uh,
I don't know if that's true or not. It's just what I've heard.
they've led. They were the first ones in the door. Illinois was the first ones in the door, for sure. But others, Iowa made a good offer. Iowa made a good offer. Now, if that does that offer change if they land other guys? I don't know. Does that if they land Bo, if they land Jax, does that offer change? I don't know. So, does it change? It does. I would imagine that where Jax goes influences the Rainies, unless they're already set, right?
Yeah.
Unless they're already set, where Jax goes influences the Rainies. I would imagine.
We need a class of 2026 moving forward, Willie. I think you need to do a crystal ball big board. Like the top 25 guys where you think they'll end up.
Where they're going?
No, not where they're going. Just and maybe you do it early enough where, there's obviously a number of these kids that in advance are going. So you got to kind of rule that out. It's almost like when you do a big board. I don't know. It'd be cool to see a top 25 projection, kind of like they do a mock draft, similar to that. But, big board. Where is this guy most likely based on? For example, a number of Penn State fans are bent out of shape that Penn State didn't get Bo Bassett. And it's like, can you take 5 seconds and look at the lineup for the next couple of years and realize that Penn State not getting Bo Bassett is not a huge deal? But if you're a fan of a program like that, you're in the running for most recruits. So it's competitive, you want it. But it would be cool to see right out of the gate, what is a recruiting upset in this, hey, this guy was really most likely to go here and now he ended up here.
Yeah, I thought about maybe adding, or either doing an article or adding, think, want, need. like you have Bo Bassett, Jax Forrest, Drayshawn, and then who needs him the most?
Yeah, that'd be
Where
cool.
does where does Willie want him? Like
Yeah.
I want this guy. I want him at this program. And then need who needs him the most?
Where would you have put Bo Bassett for want?
I would have liked to see him.
Outside of a top 8 program, I'm assuming.
I would have liked to see him at Rutgers or Tech or Oklahoma State. I mean, to have him at Oklahoma State to start off David's right.
Yeah.
So I would have had Bo. I would have had Bo one at one of those. Think I probably would have had him at Penn State, Ohio State, and need Iowa.
Yeah.
I would needed a good PR shot in the arm.
Yeah.
Program.
This is great for Iowa fans. I mean, you
Yeah.
got a guy who we were talking last night too. Like, it's been a while since Iowa has had a champ at the middleweights, and it's going to be interesting to see if, like, you have such amazing talent there, like guys like Kemmerer and Marinelli, who were very dominant, very successful, but never got that NCAA title.
I mean, Marinelli's in season. If you take away just the NCAA tournament, Marinelli's in season is like as good as anybody's ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, they needed a new face of the program. They needed a shot in the arm. They needed a signal of hope, and a lot of people after the Penn State Iowa duel, there was people grumbling like, man, it's not even fun anymore. Like, who's going to win beforehand. And I poo-poo that because I don't, who cares? I don't care. I don't care that I go to Philly and I know Penn State's going to win the title. You know what I care about? I want to know if I want to watch Kasich wrestle somebody. I want to see if Ridge Lovett can run the gauntlet at 49. I want to see what low seed comes out and does the damn thing. I like the individual. I like the wrestling matches, not the scoreboard.
Yeah, I disagree. Like,
I kind of disagree with. It's not fun anymore. Like, it's still you can still watch the wrestling.
Yeah, it's fun, but there's no comparison to when it's a great team race. 2018 was absolutely electric, and you had both great matches. But when that team race is actually a factor, it just adds such an excitement layer to it that
Does it?
I think so. Yeah,
it's definitely neat. But who outside of those two fan bases gets extra juiced?
I think.
You think Oklahoma State? You think Oklahoma State fan base? Do you think Pitt's fan base is like extra motivated if Ohio State and Penn State are in a tight one?
I think from a fan standpoint, the team race, again, the Penn State Ohio State team race in 2018 for me was one of my all-time favorites.
Because you love Penn State.
And it was still electric when they won. Versus that was a lot more fun as a Penn State fan than are we going to win by 100 or 110 or 95?
Yeah, I guess. I just
Listen,
I don't.
The team race and even that the what was it, Bo Miles Martin that year, like that.
If I was a fan of a particular team, like I wouldn't want a good team race. I'd want to win by 100 every time.
Yeah, there's a lot of Penn State fans that are like that. I think the more competitive is, I understand that viewpoint. I 100% think the years where there's an actual team race are more exciting than the years there are not. 100% agree.
Well, anyway, that's part of like wanting, like Drayshawn went to Okie State, Bo went to Iowa, Jax like. Penn State's loaded. I don't know. Give Jax to Penn State. Give Jax to Okie State or Iowa, and like let's get the ball rolling, right? Let's have a 3-headed monster. Like
that's what I'm saying. You're the one saying no to that.
No,
Or
I'm
you're
not.
saying
I'm
you're
not
saying it
saying
doesn't
no
add
to
more
it.
excitement.
I'm not saying. I'm saying there's fans saying, "Oh, the wrestling's not fun anymore because the team race isn't exciting." Like,
No, that I disagree with. Wrestling is still
like
wrestling.
let's not go crazy here.
Yeah, no, I agree. That I agree with, but I do think that absolutely the team race makes it more exciting. I'm not going to not watch
It does make it.
NCAA's
It does make it more
because
exciting. Just not like, oh, if I know Penn State's going to win this year, I'm not going to pay much attention to it.
correct. No, that I agree with.
So, think, need. Well, Penn State don't need them. Penn State could use them. Penn
We're
State don't
talking
need
Jax Forrest for those who are following.
them. Yeah, we're still talking Jax Forrest. Penn State don't need them, although they could use them. Because I think Luke Little's eventually going to move up, but maybe not. But Marcus Blaze is flex 33-41, maybe even 49. If like Jax doesn't go to Penn State, it's not the end of the world. Ohio State doesn't really make sense. They certainly don't need them. They got Bouzakis and Davino and Mendez, and I guess eventually he can move up at higher weights, or somebody else can move up higher weight. They could use them. They don't need them.
Well, Jesse Mendez is done next year already.
Yeah, that's true. But who else they got there waiting in the wings?
Unless he takes a red shirt, but I don't know why he would at this point.
Yeah, I guess if Jax grew. But yeah, whatever.
Because you're projecting Jax to be what, 33?
I think he's 41, probably 33, maybe to start 41 a little later. But so I don't think Ohio State needs him. I would need him. Oklahoma State needs him. Where do I want him? I don't really have an opinion on that. I think he'll be good wherever he goes. You can't argue with Iowa's development at the lightweights.
Mm-hmm.
They've been traditionally good 25. People complain about Iowa's development, but that doesn't even apply to the lightweights. They've been great in the lightweights. So I would kind of like not like him there, but I care about him, right? I want all these kids to go to a place where they excel, and so that would be a good place. Working with Gilman would be fun, right? So I don't really have an opinion on, but where do I think? I think he goes to the Cowboys.
Yeah, I thought that from the beginning with Gilman, and he he seems very socially active with Gilman. Gilman does something, he engages with it. I think Gilman is a leading factor.
David. By all accounts, David went to see him, right? The other day too.
Yeah, David went there the morning of, or the day. It was either the day before or the morning of the duel. He went to see him.
Yeah, so I think it's that, and that would give Okie State 2 of the first 3, and really David's first recruiting cycle be a really nice class.
Yeah, so we'll find out that it's on Float this morning at 11, and then we'll talk.
And if it's not, if it's not Okie State, well, if it's not Jax to Iowa, then you really have to start thinking about what else Iowa's going to build around Bo.
Yeah,
because they got the centerpiece now. And they got some young guys, like Gabe and Angelo will be a couple years in, and Keeter will be a couple years in, but they'll still have an overlap for a couple years of Leo DeLuca, Ludington, Arnold, Keeter, Angelo, and then the overlap with Bo, and if they got one or two other pieces, I mean, they could be cooking.
Yeah, 100%. So we'll talk more about it on our next show once Jax officially commits and we find out where that is, and we'll have some more talking points. Any other final recruiting things before we move on?
Well, let's just take inventory. The third big guy comes off the board today. So Bassett, this is how I have it. Bassett to Iowa. Jax coming today. Drayshawn to Okie State. Number 4 is Jaden James. He's Virginia Tech. You got the Rainey brothers, who are uncommitted yet. This is who's left. Rainey brothers uncommitted. I really like Joe Yurichuk out of Tennessee. I think he's really good. I think he's a 33-41. He's been wrestling 20, 26, but I think he has a bigger frame. He'll get a little bigger. Michael Mako, Dom Munaretto, Adam Waters. You know, there's a guy that I had mixed feelings on in the beginning, and now he's really winning me over this year with the way he's competing and the way he's separating. He's probably going to be a top 10 guy when the next big board comes out. Kobe Merrill from California just beat the number 1 ranked kid in the country. So that's who's left. That's who's left in the top. My top prospects.
And yes, he said Kobe, not Cody.
Yeah, Kobe. His brother.
All right, well, that's the big board inventory recruiting roundup.
Yep. All right, what do you want to do? You want to go into some matchups for this weekend? Listen, fill me in on what happened this morning overseas. I watched a couple matches, but I was doing some work and doing some prep, and I missed a little bit of it, and it's hard to follow, right? Because I don't find a bout board, but I saw Evan Wick.
So
is there a bout board up now?
It was down the last time that I checked. So yesterday, we'll run through yesterday real quick. Spencer Lee wins at 57. He beat Roman in the semi 6-3, which was a fun match.
It was fun.
The stream, UWW stream was down, so I think Flo has the matchup on YouTube now if you want to go watch it. Spencer was up 4-0, and then I think 6-0 at the break, and then Roman got a push out and a takedown late, I believe, to make it 6-3. Where a lot of people were thinking Spencer Lee next topic and ended up being a 3-point match.
I couldn't watch it. Like, the stream dropped, and I saw 4-0 and 6-0, and then it was 6-0 at the break, and then for like the first minute of the second period, because the stream worked then, in the first minute of the second period, not much goes on. Roman gets in on a shot. They get head to feet, and it gets stalemated. And then Roman starts coming pretty hard, picks up the pace, gets a push out, and then gets a takedown. I don't know if 15 or so seconds left, and you kind of got the impression like, Roman, why don't you go harder earlier? I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was hard. It's hard to assess without seeing the first half of the match.
Yeah. And then 61, Nashawn Garrett took a bronze. That dude always is in these matches where, like, his bronze medal match, he won 16-11.
Yeah.
He's always in these matchups where it's just 20 points, 30 points. McKenna made the finals at 65, ended up losing to Iranian 8-6.
I saw
a match he had won. That was
okay. So I saw one of the Twitter accounts from foreigners.
Yeah.
In
Forrest.
Yes, that's who it was.
Yeah.
And I didn't see the McKenna match, but he had some tweet that said something like sort of disparaging, like McKenna blew it, or like McKenna was
biggest.
I don't know.
Joke. Yeah,
McKenna choked. Is that what he said?
Yeah.
What is that? So what happened?
He gave up a takedown late, like seconds to go, if I'm remembering correctly. Like seconds to go.
Those, I'll tell you what, though, they just have a different way. Those foreign wrestling accounts, they almost don't mean, they're just brutal. just
they're
like
great. I honestly
brutally honest.
yeah, they're great. It's honestly what Bashada wants. Bashada just wants brutal honesty with people who have no affiliations to anything, like wrestlers, coaches, whatever. And these guys, like, they're also extremely biased, so it's definitely
Yeah, but I
funny.
think it gets lost in translation a little bit. Or it's either lost in translation or it's just a totally different culture. Because there's one thing about like they're like it's like live or die with them, right? Like you either won or you suck.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
they have a ruthless
Yeah.
fan base, but it's very much like wrestling overseas is their NFL. It's like that's their everything. They don't have an NFL. They don't have an NBA, MLB. Like a lot of these foreigners, like wrestling is everything. Mock was just down 4-0, I think, and won 12-4.
So
So
Mock,
yeah, Mock for bronze.
what was that? Repechage? Oh,
Bronze.
yeah, because I saw him lose to.
Sorry, yeah, repechage, not bronze.
Yeah, I saw him lose to the Iranian, well, a really good Iranian, Firuzpur.
Yeah, so Joey lost late to the Iranian at 70 kilos. No American medalist. Jarrett Jacques
Dude,
beat Musakayev 3-2. And again, you want to talk funny foreign accounts. The one guy, I'm blanking on how to.
Musakayev's gas tank.
No, it starts with an S. But anyways, he said
Safir?
Maybe, yeah. And he was saying that
is the old Iranian coach.
yeah, him. He was saying that Musakayev looked like he's been training at McDonald's because Jacques won 3-2 over Musakayev, and then
And did you see what he did? Musakayev, like it was early too.
I think it might have been there, like flat-footed.
It was the first period. He was like, that dude has to smoke cigarettes. There's no way. He was standing there, flat-footed, hands on his knees, and JQ just doubles right through him. Musakayev is a treasure.
He is a treasure. So yeah, and then the rest of 70 was kind of wonky. Green beat Pantelio.
You see James' face?
Yeah, he's got like a whole thing.
Big
So
knot.
James Green beat Pantelio 4-3, and then Green wrestles the Iranian, gets concussed, and he's out. And meanwhile,
I don't even think he took the mat, did he?
I can't remember.
I thought he defaulted. But anyway.
Maybe he defaulted. Maybe he didn't even take the match. I thought he got the concussion in that match, but you might be right. It might have happened in the Pantelio match, and he couldn't wrestle this semi. That makes sense. But because he knocked out Pantelio, he was out. And then Jacques lost the next round to the Iranian, so he was out. And so then Austin Gomez wins his repechage match and then beats the Iranian. And gets bronze. So that's that weight. Let me see. 74, David Carr lost to a Russian in the finals. I don't remember the score. 7-0. He lost 7-0. Zahid, so 86 kilos, Zahid won gold. And then Trent Hidley and Nate Jackson both took bronze. Hidley, I did not think looked like Hidley the first couple of matches. He won a close one, and then he lost 5-0. But Willie, I'll tell you what. I started like I'm still working on it. I want to put out an way too early prediction for USA World Team for this year. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of like ones that I think are kind of easy, where it's like 57 is a favorite with Spencer Lee. And then there's kind of like those lightweights, middleweights is a gap. And then it's kind of like next topic for me. I think if Date comes back, he's obviously, 74, 79. You got Brooks, I think, 92. Snyder, 97. Gable, 125. I think Zahid is the guy at 86. He's got back-to-back golds. He looked great yesterday. I mean, Zahid is looking like he's the guy.
In my opinion, Zahid was always lifestyle. Like,
yeah.
Zahid always looked like one of the best in the world for 2.5 minutes, right? And I think he probably. I mean, that's probably one of the reasons for the big change. No more messing around now. I think he's probably gotten a little bit more serious with it and professional with it. And but I mean, my point is, he looks in great shape physically, gas tank wise. He looks like he's doing all the right things because he always had all the tools.
And and also, like, yes, I agree with you. Lifestyle probably played a factor, but let's also not diminish the fact that if you look back at the last couple of years, 2024, he didn't make the world team because he lost to David Taylor, an all-time great. He didn't make the Olympic team because he lost to Aaron Brooks, who was seconds away from beating the champ at the Olympics. 2023, he made the world team, and then he medaled. He got a bronze medal at the Worlds. The year before that, he lost to David Taylor at Final X, an all-time great. So it's like, if you look back, and like over the last quad, while you can argue lifestyle, and I agree, also he's stuck behind some of the best guys in the world, and now he finally has a clear path where he doesn't have, call it a Penn State guy. Well, Bo Nickel, Aaron Brooks, David Taylor, I think are the only guys to keep him off a world team this entire past quad.
That's true. However, despite all those accolades and that context, at no point in time do I think he was as good as he could have been.
No, 100%. And that's why I agree that I think some of it's lifestyle. I think we're seeing a better version than we ever have with Zahid right now. I also think that, he didn't lose to anybody but.
No.
So I think this window is here for Zahid at 86. And I think, he won gold at the Dan Koloff last month and got OW, and now he got gold here. So
that's good. That's really good. He's being that active.
Year.
What was AB supposed to go, and then didn't?
Yeah, medical stuff.
And then okay, so who else did we have? Mike Mock over there.
Mike Mock. So then today you had I'm trying to think. You had a couple of guys. Michael McGee lost. Brandon Courtney lost. Daniel DeShazer lost to Roman. You had
I saw Zilmer.
Zilmer just lost to Mason Paris in the semi.
Did he? He was wrestling some Georgian, and the Georgian just broke real bad.
Yeah, so he just lost to Mason Paris. So Kyle Snyder's going for gold. Snyder actually in the semi just beat the same guy he beat for 2022 World Gold. So Snyder's back wrestling for gold at noon Eastern today. Mason Paris is wrestling for gold. And then Rocco Welch, Mike Mock, Jay Aiello, Hayden Zilmer, and Trent Hilger are all wrestling for bronze.
This might be a Willie, you're such an idiot moment, but I can't recall off the top of my head. Did Gable say anything about senior level?
I don't think so. I don't think he's come out and said anything past one more year at Minnesota. So I don't see how he doesn't. I mean, it seems like he doesn't really have anything else right now that he's committed to. So I wouldn't be – my gut, just a gut reaction, says I think he's going to go to MMA soon. So I think we could see him while he trains for MMA, give it another, world title shot.
Yeah, that's what he should do. Give it a run. Try to win a medal or two, a couple more medals. It's not like his MMA training would prevent him.
Correct.
From
That's why.
Wrestling shape.
And Gable's so good that if he's training for MMA and he doesn't want to take a fight yet, like, you can go show up to the U.S. Open, Final X, the World Championships.
Yeah, you're not going to be out of shape. I mean, when you're MMA, you're training 3 or 5 minute rounds. Is like you're staying. Your cardio's good.
Yeah. So we'll see. I think we see him this year. Even if he wants to go MMA, and he'll be one of those guys that doesn't have to take that long route some of these guys do.
Yeah.
because of who he is and his high level of success that he's had. But I don't think we'll really see that until after the NCAA season.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
One other note is that because people thought this was a typo. Kennedy Blades at this ranking series is down at 68. It's not a typo. She's, I believe, moving to 68 now. They kind of moved around, but she's competing at the ranking series at 68.
Good.
So maybe we'll finally see Kennedy versus Amit Elor.
No, not good. I need our best lineup. What's best for USA? That's what I'm getting at.
Well, it depends on what weight is. I think Amit only came down to 68 for the Olympics. I think Kennedy will go 68 and Elor will probably go 72. I think.
Whatever, just get them both in the lineup.
She was up at 72 for the 2022 and 2023 World Championships. She only came down to 68 for the Olympics. I believe she's going back to 72, and that could be one reason why Kennedy's going down to 68.
I just want them. I don't.
I agree. We need them
I
all
just
in the
want them both in
lineup.
the lineup. Yep.
So ranking series continues. We'll talk more about the ranking series in the next show.
What's next on the horizon? What's next on the horizon? World level stuff, senior level stuff.
Well, there's a ranking series at the end of this month that it sounds like not a lot of the number ones are going to go to. That's why Flo has that card with Spencer Lee and Ono. Iowa City.
No. Where at is the next ranking series?
This one's at
Actually,
Croatia with the worst crowd ever.
That's what I was going to say. Flo's card is the best.
Albania
stuff coming up. It's disheartening, man. It's disheartening. It's really hard to stomach. Like, we're talking about all these kids and juniors in high school and they're dominating the headlines, and we have senior level world medalist Kyle Snyder's wrestling a rematch of the world finals from a couple, and nobody's even paying attention. There's nobody in the arena. There's no announcer. There's one announcer. There's no bout board. There's no scores. I mean, the stream goes down. I mean, it just makes no sense to me. Like, the highest level of wrestling, I don't know, doesn't do itself any justice.
I know yesterday, and I think the bout board is finally back up, but it's like yesterday was there was no bout board. Like you said, the stream was going down. Spencer Lee, Roman Bravo Young, nobody saw the first couple of minutes of the match. It wasn't, the arena is just absolutely dead. I mean, I shared the video. There's like nobody there.
The weird thing is, I saw Zagreb rankings tournament, and I thought about the time I was in Zagreb for the Junior World Championships, and I was thinking, I'm like, man, that little crappy, shitty arena. It was so terrible. It was it was terrible. I don't even think that might have fit like 100 fans. But I mean, actually, the area around it was gorgeous and safe and beautiful. I would move there. It was just the arena was really dinky, and I'm like, man, are they having it at that place? And then I turn on the stream, and it's a gorgeous arena, but there ain't nobody there.
I know.
It's just a bad look, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's a little disappointing, but Americans, we love our recruiting now, don't we?
And we also love our folk style, and we
love our folk style. Here's what we have going on this week, and by this week I mean tonight. We actually have a really good match tonight, individual match. So you got Cleveland State, Edinburgh at 7, Ryder, Lockhaven at 7, and then you have Utah Valley and West Virginia, which means number 3 Terrell Bearclaw versus number 4 Peyton Hall. That is a dandy.
It's a good match tonight. I'm looking forward to that one.
We know who you got.
Yeah, Bearclaw.
Will be a good one. To me, it's a big test for Bearclaw.
100%.
You know, I'm rooting for him too. Like not in this particular matchup. I'm rooting, since he left Penn State, I'm rooting for him to have really good year. It's a really great story. The guy paid his dues. He's going to have one last senior ride, and I hope he makes the most of it. And to this point, he has certainly impressed. Probably even more so than I thought. Of course, he's up to number 3 in the country. So,
and by the way, like, this is a huge test for Bearclaw. It's also a huge test for Peyton Hall. Peyton Hall is undefeated on the year, 21-0, and his best win or match is his 2 wins over Cam Amin. So this is going to be a big test too for Peyton Hall, and it's going to be a great match. Of course, I'm going to ride with my guy Bearclaw, but going to be a great match.
I'm gonna take Peyton Hall just to be different. And also, like, I believe Bearclaw is that dude. Like, I believe he is now sort of pretty much locked into a podium, I would say. However, Bearclaw beat Amin in a close one, correct?
Yes.
And he has 2 good wins, I think.
He beat Amin in tiebreakers 5-4.
He beat Amin, and he beat Hunter Garvin. Yeah. But I will say Hunter Garvin is
beat
not
Hunter Garvin twice.
Yeah, I don't think Hunter Garvin is one of those March wrestlers.
No, this will be both of their biggest tests of the season.
Yeah. So that's why I'm gonna take Hall, and but I think it's a toss-up kind of match. Okay, that's tonight. That's a big one tonight. I'm glad that kind of gets on an island of its own. Tomorrow, Lehigh Bucknell at 6, Michigan at Penn State. You put in here 38.5-point favorites, Penn State and Nittany Lions.
Yeah, what do you think of that line? I mean, that's basically you're kind of betting there
that's
on
a sweep, right?
If Cardenas beats Barr, you gotta love the 38.5. If you think Barr can beat Cardenas, then you gotta like Penn State, because there's going to be matches that Penn State gets some good bonus.
38.5. Good gravy. That's a lot of bonus.
But if you go through, like, this Michigan team is not very good. So listen, it's still a lot of points. It's gonna be you got a number of unranked guys in there for Michigan. So.
Well, okay, so 25, probably looking at Lilidal Tanafu's bonus. 33 is, I don't know. I don't know if Davis will be back for this. I'm not sure. Why? Where's it at? It's at Penn State. It's actually BJC. So I don't know if Davis will be back. That's a key. That's a key.
I was just gonna say that's the other big thing is lineups. Does Penn State wrestle everybody? What's the health of everybody? Because on the surface, I think you got to take Penn State or Michigan plus 38.5. It's just that is so many points.
I wouldn't take anything in this duel.
And then you got Bartlett, Sergio Lemley.
Yeah, Bartlett, Lemley, 49 is 457. I mean, Penn State's going to put up a lot of bonus.
Yeah.
But it's Lemley, Bartlett, Cardenas, Barr. That's what we're looking at, the big matchups there. Another good test for Josh Barr. I'm going to take the veteran there. And if Barr beats Cardenas, Barr lost close one-ish to Buchanan. If Barr loses to Cardenas, he's sort of still hovering at the four, right? Yeah. If he beats Cardenas, then you kind of think, okay, another step forward. He's top 3.
Yeah, absolutely.
Minnesota, Ohio State, low key. Friday is awesome because you got those couple matchups, Penn State and Michigan. Minnesota, Ohio State is low key fire. It should be a really competitive duel. What's the line on that? Look that line up.
I don't think there's one out yet. The only 2 lines I saw was Iowa minus 5.5 and Penn State minus 38.5.
Flynn McCrone, really toss-up-ish kind of match. Wells Bouzakis, toss-up-ish kind of match. Mendez Von Bauer, Mendez, a big favorite, but Von Bauer really funky, and see what he can do. Sasso Askey, Patty against Sparks, closest matchup. Whiting Karchla, Micanelli Rogo, Shume or Geog against Salazar, Gable and Feldman. It's a great duel.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good duel.
North Carolina and Pittsburgh should actually be a pretty good duel as well. Rutgers, Maryland at 7:30. Nebraska, Iowa at 8 p.m. Somebody tweeted a line for this one.
5.5.
It's 5.5 now?
The 5.5. That's the only line I saw.
Remember when we were arguing in a group chat yesterday?
Well, you mean Fellers were on FaceTime talking about it.
And Fellers was for you people at home. Fellers was Fellers. He was nonstop. He was in his Feller zone.
Yeah, he was on one.
He was trying to first of all, he came up with 12-point spread.
No. I said WrestleStat has the duel 23-10 Iowa. And I said a lot of the lines I've seen have been close to what the WrestleStat algorithm is. But there's also times where it's not. But I said if I had to guess, I'd say it's probably double digits based on where that was.
He's such a goof because he was so hardcore that 97% of what Fellers does and says is just trying to get a reaction out of somebody. And he was trying to tell me how Nebraska is going to win this duel. And I wasn't biting. But let's go through it. Caleb Smith, Joey Cruz. You take Caleb Smith, right?
Yeah.
Van D Ayala. Van D looked bad last week. Van D's so bipolar. He he'll beat a Ragusan. He'll beat a Braden Davis. He'll beat, but then he'll lose. Apparently, he had a bad cut last week, but he doesn't even really cut a lot. But I don't know, he looked bad. But we know what he's capable of. But I'll take Drake. Obviously, you take Drake in that spot.
Yep.
Hardy against somebody. It might be number 19 Ryder Block or Jace Rhodes. Or even who else did they put out? Shriver.
Block was not listed in the probables.
You know what? That's funny. Iowa, they went 10 guys. They just went 10.
Well, no, they have some. They have a couple.
They had Oars?
Oh no, you're right. Sorry, you're right.
Yeah, they just went 10 dudes. I love it.
Yeah. So this is the lineup that Iowa had: Cruz, Ayala, Shriver, Parco, Estrada, Caliendo, Kennedy, Arnold, Buchanan, Keeter.
Yeah, so Shriver, Hardy, and I don't know. I would think Brock's really good on top and really good forcing you into mistakes and stuff like that. And I would think maybe bonus, but Shriver is really solid positioning. I mean, he's not spectacular, but he's not really easy to score on. I don't know.
I think this is going to be an easy one for Brock Hardy.
No, I think it's an easy pick, but do you take Major?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Bo didn't major him.
Yeah, it was a close match. Bo wrestles a lot of close matches.
All right, so I'm gonna go Brock. I'm gonna go Brock regular decision. I'm gonna go Ayala a major. So
I think Brock Hardy is going to be a 7 or 8 point match. So I think it's going to be can he get to the major at the end of the match?
All right, let's give Brock a major. 7-4 after 3. Ridge Lovett, Kyle Parco. What is this? Ridge Lovett, Kyle Parco. Why is there a 4 there? It's not 4. It's that. I'm going to take Ridge. I think if Ridge wrestles his match, it's Ridge's. I think if Ridge wrestles that thing where he does I'm going to try to win on rideouts or a riding time point, then Parco can get it. But I'll take Ridge, and I will make it 10-4. What do you have?
Parco. I mean, this is my same logic for Van Ness. Parco's 2-0 against Levitt.
Okay, so then
So I'm going
that's the
Parco.
duel. Then that's probably the duel, maybe. I have it 10-4. You have it 7-7. Teamer against probably Estrada.
No, Estrada against Antrell.
I mean, yeah. Antrell against Estrada.
So that's a big one for Nebraska, because I think now that was, I would have had that as a coin flip match based on Teamer's match last week. So I think you got to give this one to Antrell.
Yeah, I think close though. Estrada's really good, positionally sound, and I don't think he breaks defense too much. I'm just regular decision there. So I got 13-4. You have it 10-7. Caliendo Minto. The Iowa boards were talking about how they were kind of impressed with Minto, and he's beat a couple ranked guys, but Caliendo, first of all, 65 is not deep, and Minto can mess around. Minto can beat a Sparks. He beat a Sparks, right? He beat somebody else that was half decent. Bullock or Mantanota. But I think Caliendo destroys everybody that's not named Mesenbrink.
Yep.
So I'm going to take 4 here. I'm going to take 4. Now, Minto is a little clingy and roly-poly, and he eats up a lot of clock. But I think Caliendo's
all-time funny moment yesterday when you were laying on your couch on the FaceTime with me and fellers, and you realized, you said, guys, oh my gosh, I just realized that Nebraska has Minto Pinto as back-to-back.
That's terrible. That's Minto Pinto. Yeah, that's bad. Minto, so that's the Caliendo Major 13-8, the duel right now. Now, this is the part of the duel where fellers tried to get my hopes up. I think that's what he was trying to do. I'm not sure. But Kennedy Pinto and Arnold Silas. And I just I think Lenny's good. I think Silas is good. But both of them are wild. They're both wild. And Silas beat a national champ in Max Dean. Beat him twice. And Pinto has beaten some good guys. But Iowa is Kennedy and Arnold are positionally sound. And I love that Lenny goes out and tries to mix it up. I love that Allred goes out and tries to mix it up. I love that they're active and aggressive. But against guys that stay at home as much as Kennedy Arnold do, I'm picking Kennedy Arnold. And so
same.
I had 13-8, and now it's 14-13 going into Buchanan McDaniel. I think that's a clear win for Buchanan, and maybe bonus.
Yeah, I think that's bonus.
I'll tell you what, though. Keeter Harley Andrews, I don't think. Call me crazy. I think Harley has a shot. Like, Keeter's not a huge heavyweight. Harley's not a huge heavyweight. These are two guys that are usually a little bit undersized. Harley's scrambly and goofy, and Keeter's the pick. But I mean,
Keeter's a pick by bonus.
Is he?
Yeah. I mean, if you look at Harley Andrews' resume this year, he had that run where he had like a couple of matches in a row where he just so happened to wrestle like the best guys. But I mean, in like a 5-match span, he got teched by Feldman, Gable, and Kirk, who are all very good. But he also lost 11-6 to Lance Runyon.
Rough run.
So, I think this is Keeter by bonus.
It could be. Yeah, it could be. So, yeah, I got Iowa. I got Iowa probably comfortably, but
I like 5.5. I can't get that line yet because that was only on DraftKings, but I like Iowa 5.5. I think they cover
you
that.
can't get DraftKings.
I have DraftKings. They don't in New York for some reason they don't have like certain things. I can't get certain props. I can't bet on New York schools. I can't get wrestling. It's so dumb. New York is so overregulated.
I'll put it in for you. Um, it's going to be an interesting duel. The individual matchups. I mean, I think Iowa takes it, but the individual matchup should be fun. I think really, even if Iowa splits, I mean, I could sort of underperform and split 74-84 and still win.
Yeah, I agree.
What else we got? Arizona State and Iowa State. You know, we didn't talk about this. But so no teamer, and there was actually Corby said online that the teamer had to go. His uncle died, but there was somebody sent me an Instagram clip where teamer and Richie Figs were out at a nightclub last night.
What?
I didn't send this to you.
No. If that made it in the group chat, I didn't see it.
Oh no, I just sent it to Felters. But yeah, there was now. Listen, who knows? That could be a picture from 4 months ago, but it was posted last night.
What day? It's Thursday, so it was Wednesday night. I wonder where it was.
That's what I'm saying. My first thought was, okay, Teamer had a death in the family. If Corby's saying Teamer had a death in the family, then he's going to Long Island. And maybe Richie's tight with Jacory, and he's in Long Island with Jacory. And he went to his family's funeral because he's friends with Jacory. But they were at it was clearly a nightclub. And so, like, maybe Figs is taking the red eye to Ames today. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll find
Anyway.
out. I might have to call Eric Thompson and get the lowdown. But Figs, I'm looking at the probables, and they only have Figs at 25.
Wait, let me send you this, and I want to watch your reaction in real time. Boy,
Where was it posted?
Instagram.
No, but like who posted it?
Jacory. Put it on the screen.
Hold on, let me see if I can.
Put it on the screen, and I'll start talking about Ames. I mean, I'll start talking about Arizona State, and although maybe they're both in Iowa, I don't know.
All right, it's on the screen.
Okay, so there's Richie and there's Jacory, and the other guy is a music producer. The guy in the middle is a music producer from Tempe.
What's the caption? I don't know why this won't show. Let's see.
The caption.
Oh, it's just emojis. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that caption is. So Jacory was tagged in it. Okay, so he was.
Oh, he was tagged in it.
Yeah, because this Cade Solito must be who posted it.
Oh, liked by Jacory. See, maybe it's not from last night. I don't know. It was posted last night, though.
That's funny. Investigative
anyway,
journalism, Big J journalism here, folks.
Well, these are the things that people send me. I don't even have Instagram. I mean, I have Instagram, but I never use it. I don't look at it ever. Everybody yells at me for not using Instagram, but Twitter's enough for me. I get enough trouble on Twitter. Anyway, let's go.
This, just so you know, I'm doing a little bit of investigative Big J journalism, and I don't think that's from last night at all. because this guy posted a clip of he posted a photo of like 10, 15 different photos, and there's everything from palm trees in one
Oh,
to,
really?
I believe, I'm pretty sure this is Chicago. So this might just be like a
Why
monthly,
do you think it's Chicago?
this might just be a monthly roundup.
So he just went through his album and was like, "Yo, let's
I
tweet
think
some."
that's Chicago. I'm not that good at GeoGuessr. Is that Chicago? It's got to be.
I don't know, dude. I don't know. Anywho,
All
Arizona
right,
State
so
and Iowa is actually a really good duel. Figs, Terrakina, Frost, Klebov was wild. In Vegas, Frost Izagari. Well, I don't know what happened to Izagari. Izagari once beat Brock Hardy, and he's like 3-4 this year. Panero Johnson Vasquez. That's a good matchup. Chittum Killick, Ruiz, Rojas, Gatan Wilner, Addison Bachman, Meisner Scahn, Schultz Herrera. It's a good duel. I'm watching it. Also Friday, Buffalo, Northern Illinois, Michigan State, Northwestern, Northern Colorado, South Dakota State, Air Force, Utah Valley, Oregon State, Cal Poly, Tech Stanford. Tech Stanford could be a good one. You know it's going to start off with a forfeit at 25
Stinks.
Antreska. McGonigal Knox would be a good one.
Yeah.
Miranda Latona. Abbas and Henson. That's interesting. Hippolito Chalakian. Garvin Church. Wolak Norman. Wolak needs this to get back in. He's been bad lately, but let's see. It's a good opportunity for him. Norman's been really solid. Wins over Pinto. Norman has some really good wins. Montero and Stewart. Stemmet, Andy Smith's a good match. Ming and Mullen. Tech should take it, but there's interesting parts in there. Purdue, Wisconsin. That's Nicolar and Matt Ramos. That's for Friday. Saturday, February 8th, the greatest day in the world. That's my birthday and James Dean's birthday. Princeton, Cornell. Can Unger be down at 25 now? Would have Mark Anthony McGowan. Ryder, Bloomsburg. Oklahoma State, Little Rock. That's Nasir and either Whitcraft or Hughes. Stephen Little and Luke Serber. Lockhaven, Clarion. Northern Iowa at NDSU. West Virginia at Wyoming. That's it for Saturday. Sunday. Super Bowl Sunday. Penn at Cornell. It's a little light, which is good because we have the Super Bowl. Penn at Cornell. Purdue at Minnesota. Go Bills. Flynn Ramos. Blaze and Askey. I really like Blaze Askey. I can't wait for that bout. Maryland at Penn State. Braxton Brown versus, I don't know. I would be really interested if it was Braden Davis, but I do not know if he will be wrestling. Ethan Miller, Ty Kasek, undefeated versus undefeated. Kasek could pretty much, I mean, whoever wins, and you assume Kasek, but it's obviously undefeated for undefeated, so probably wraps up the top seed at Big Tens. Michigan State, Wisconsin, Ohio State, Indiana, Pittsburgh at Iowa State, and that is your weekend.
It's going to be a good one.
Go Bills.
And then, then we got Jax Forrest committing today at 11. We got medal matches. I just tweeted the bout order at 12 Eastern. You got a very full Friday night slate of wrestling.
And
the postseason's around the corner.
Well, number 1 versus number 2 duel in high school.
Saturday.
Bishop McCort and Faith Christian, and it's going to be a great duel. It's going to be a great duel. And it's so crazy, Justin. I know you're not knee-deep in high school like I am, but for the 2 best teams in high school to be double A schools in Pennsylvania, weird. Triple A rules the roost in PA and always has. and Double A has like, uh, no out. So Bishop McCort, I mean, they got kids from 3, 4 states,
Big
but
week from McCort. I mean, you got Bo Bassett committing. It sounds like Melvin Miller might be kind of packaged in with him at Iowa. You got Jax Forrest. You think, yeah?
Well, I talked to Melvin and he said maybe, but I'm kind of still open, but maybe, So I mean,
Yeah.
it seems like that's not locked.
It's not locked. Melvin, the door's open for. The door's open for him. It makes sense.
Yeah. Now, don't freak out and everybody go say, Willie said on Bash in the Brain, Willie said Melvin's not committed to Iowa. I'm not saying that. I said, Melvin, is it a done deal? And he's like, no, I'm still kind of open, but I'm not sure, So I'm not reporting anything. I'm telling you.
You're just saying it's not a foregone conclusion that he's at Iowa with Bo Bassett. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, they live in the same house, so.
What time is that duel Saturday?
I don't know. It's usually 4. I don't know. Don't quote me.
Tweet it.
I have to look it up.
Tweet it when you know, so people follow you and can.
Oh, I will tweet it. It's #1 versus #2 in the country, and it's fantastic.
Willie the Twitter critiquer telling me just post a screenshot, Shakespeare. That I will admit that tweet did not. So I made that graphic.
I'm only busting your chops.
No,
right?
I know, but I was laughing because you weren't wrong. I made that graphic and post for Instagram and Facebook, and I said I'll just put it on Twitter too. And then,
also, full disclosure, I was 3 cheats to the wind when I did it. I woke up and I scrolled through my Twitter, and I was like, ooh, I hope he didn't take that the wrong way.
No, I was laughing because I'm like, I did go the longest possible route to just say that it could be Roman and Spencer in the semis. Here's a bracket. But I was the annoying thing and why I spell some of these things out sometimes is because I can say, man, can't wait for Penn State, Iowa tonight. Well, is it 1 versus 2? What are they ranked right now? What time is it? Is it at Penn State or is it at Iowa? How do I watch it? It's like the kid in Home Alone when he's talking with the bus. So I try to spell everything out so that everybody has the information they need. And that one definitely was a bit long-winded, to say the least. I was laughing at that one.
Yeah, so I can't wait for that duel. It's like 2 PA AA schools. You got these powerhouse superstars, and then you got Faith Christian Academy, just like this little engine that could. All these kids from a really, really small, like, I got to watch how I say this because people in PA freak out. It's like, no, maybe they weren't a school district, but they're from freaking really close around. Okay, guys? So give them some props. They all wrestled coming up through through elementary school together, and they built a really great thing.
Built a really great thing.
I mean, they started from nothing. It wasn't even. I didn't even know the school existed. I swear to God, it was like Faith Christian. Like when the first like decent kid came up, and it was like, oh, he wrestles at Faith Christian Academy in Pennsylvania. I'm like, where the hell is that? That's not it. That's not a school. And they're #1 in the country, and so it's really cool.
It is funny when like somebody like me that doesn't know a lot about high school wrestling and I'm looking something up and you try to search for something like Faith Christian Academy and there's 100 of them across the country. You're trying to you really have to know some of these things, whether it's typing in the town, knowing the mascot, knowing the logo. Bishop McCort, at least there's only one. They're a 1-on-1, I believe. But some of these schools, like I was even trying to find a Marcus Freeman, the head coach of Notre Dame, his kid is pretty good, and he just had an in-home visit from Michigan. And I was trying I was going to make a photo and a graphic about, if only Vinnie Freeman could stay home in Notre Dame. But and so I was going to do a Notre Dame singlet. And if you Google Notre Dame singlet, you'll get 1,000 of them because there's 1,000 Notre Dame high schools.
Yeah.
But it's not the Fighting Irish College.
I'm trying to see where Indiana met my boy Joe Caprino. I'm trying to see where he has him ranked. Vinnie Freeman. Vinnie Freeman Jr. from Rochester, Indiana. Or no, Penn.
He's ranked 7th at 175.
7th where?
I don't know. I just pulled up an article. Vinnie Freeman is a junior, currently ranked 7th at 175.
Indiana Matt's latest rankings has him 3rd. He's 27-2.
Okay.
He lost to Devin Kendricks, who was, I think, a state runner-up last year. Or Devin Kendricks is good, and he lost to a really good freshman, whose name I hate. It's the dumbest name.
You usually have a lot of appreciation for different names.
No, I hate this name. His name is Caesar Salas.
No, Caesar salad.
He's one letter away from a famous
salad.
dish, but he's actually a really good freshman.
From
Caesar salad.
dish.
Why would you?
Oh man.
There's a really good junior high kid coming up from Omaha or Chicago, one of those, and his name is Sir Chris Swilly.
I think you're making some of these up.
No, actually, nope, I'm not. Not at all.
This would be one of those things where you tweet like, "Hey guys, I did a bet. I had Justin convinced today that Caesar Salad was a wrestler."
Dude, I swear to God, Caesar Salas. He's a freshman. He's really good. The 3rd ranked kid at 165 or 157 also. Really terrible name, in my opinion. It's a really terrible name. His first name is Silas. And his last name is Stits. Stits. Silas.
Tits.
See you later. See you later.
That's the show. Like and subscribe. You can't get this anywhere.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.